Modern natural science studies estimate that 1.6 billion people, including more than 2,000 indigenous cultures, depend on forests for their livelihood. In addition to food and shelter, forests offer a wide range of marketable wood and non-wood products such as timber, fuel wood, fruits, nuts and medicinal plants. In 2004, forest products accounted for about 3.7% of international trade in commodities. Forests are therefore among the most productive terrestrial ecosystems. This makes them attractive for both climate change mitigation and agricultural uses. However, agriculture underlies the currently high deforestation and degradation rates in tropical and subtropical regions, leading to about 1/4 of anthropogenic carbon dioxide emissions.
The main threats to the forest sector in Kenya, one is on governance, especially in relation to answering three main questions. One is how are decisions made, who makes these decisions, and how are they implemented. And the second thing is now climate change is with us here. And because of climate change, we are seeing changes in land use, particularly the farming community. People have to move into the forests, particularly because of the ideal climatic conditions and most likely even the soils. So changes in land use have to be governed.
Due to the focus that every country has given its forest sector, the United Nations General Assembly declared 2011 the International Year of Forests to raise awareness on sustainable management, conservation and sustainable development of all types of forests.
International Year of Forests 2011 is a year that provides a platform where we celebrate people's actions towards sustainably managing forests. Forests provide livelihoods to millions of people by providing water, energy, agriculture, food, and aesthetic value. We expect to have networking and sharing of ideas and knowledge about forests. We expect people to have benefit sharing with the authorities who man these forests. We also expect people to derive benefits from these forests directly and indirectly.
It's important we use this year to show how Kenya is helping deal with a global problem, but also show how global impact is affecting Kenya. So the country-global linkage is one that I think is worth emphasizing, and I hope this year we'll bring that out. Because I would like to see our resources and our environment and our biodiversity recognized as valuable assets that we should build on and not destroy. And I think in that way we can get sustainable development. There won't be, in the end, you can't beat the environment, you have to live with it. And so my message is, let's not pretend you do environment here and then you forget environment when you do development. To me, environment is important to sustain all development, and I'm talking as much about agriculture as I am about wildlife.
Following the International Year of Forestry theme, Forests for People, KFWG, through Miss University's Kenya banner of Mazingira Challenge, seeks to roll out an integrated program to raise awareness on the problems facing the country in conservation.
What is the meaning of the term forest excision?
Cutting down of trees.
You didn't get it right. The answer is hiving of sections of gazetted forest for the purpose of development other than forest conservation. Aspen is from which family of trees? No. Which name is given to a young green cabbage that is picked before the heart was fully developed? The number one cause of tropical deforestation worldwide is A, commercial logging, B, wildfire, C, clearing of land for agricultural use, D, gathering of firewood, E, building of roads and cities. Thank you. Correct.
Research institutions in Kenya play an important role in influencing forest sector policies. Universities form an important constituent in research and provide technical assistance. However, lack of proper coordination among these institutions has made it impossible for research findings to trickle down to stakeholders.
University researchers, university lecturers like us are tied down with what we do on a day-to-day basis. But if the message or the findings, the results could reach the CSOs, then they are a better channel of communicating the findings to the people.
Through a Forestry Resource Information Development and Management module employed by the Kenya Forests Working Group, various universities have been involved in sensitization programs such as quiz challenges, tree planting, and community mobilization drives. Forests provide a wide range of environmental services including biodiversity conservation, water supply, carbon sequestration, flood control and protection against soil erosion and desertification. They play a vital role in maintaining a stable global climate and environment. Forests are vital to the survival and well-being of the Earth's 7 billion population. Through research, advocacy, networking and partnership development for improved livelihoods, Kenya Forests Working Group continue to explore various forest conservation approaches across Kenya. Kenya Forests Working Group supports environmental-based research in institutions of higher learning and engages youths in other methods of learning about the environment. This is in a bid to instill virtues, encourage environmental-friendly practices, and promote positive attitudes towards forestry.
Kenya Forest Working Group introduced a module as a component of reaching out to universities and students specifically called Mazingira Quiz Challenge from the year 2010. And Mazingira Quiz Challenge specifically was meant to highlight and advocate for issues students don't learn in class. And those were issues in wetlands, issues in forestry, wildlife, climate change, and policy. The questions were supposed specifically to create awareness to the larger public and also test the students' understanding of what is happening in the country currently.
Students is basically the basis of our project, because I believe that as students we can get to reach to the people on the grassroots. I believe that as students we've come from diverse communities, and if we use this avenue as the university to reach out to the students on issues of the environment, we'll be able to reach out even to the people in the grassroots.
The program is also aimed at building a network of students around the country, mobilize them to participate in environmental-related issues, and promote innovations that will enhance conservation efforts and celebrate forestry in 2011.
We should look into the environment and ask ourselves, what is it that we can do, a positive approach to managing the environment, that as we nurture that environment, it will nurture us.
The university should do much more in terms of supporting such activities through clubs, or even set aside some funding for sponsoring students who may even not be linked up to club activities to participate in some of the activities that go towards, and I would say, focus on environmental conservation.
The broad variety of forest types in tropical, subtropical, Mediterranean, temperate, and boreal regions together account for 2/3 of all terrestrial ecoregions. Sustainable forest management depends on application of science in generating improved technologies. Forestry research therefore holds a pivotal role in forestry development, management, and conservation by developing and generating technologies necessary for enhanced forest management.
Kenya Forest Working Group, in its lobbying and advocacy work, uses research, and it involves usually people from universities, academicians, researchers, all across the board. And the status of forestry research in Kenya, there are few gaps, but still the institution of higher learning and research institutions are doing much work. But maybe Kenya Forest Working Group has identified that institutions of higher learning have been able to do a lot of research in their laboratories. But do you know the researches they have done there? If you go to the institutions of higher learning, you will see a number of booklets in their shelves. We have PhD researchers, we have master's researchers in forest sector that are lying in their libraries, and nobody else knows about this research. That is what Kenya Forest Work Group wants to do in their collaboration with the universities. How do we get those researchers being chewed to be able to be digested by the people who are working in the communities who are need for those research?
We in higher learning, we can actually fall into that kind of category. We teach, but we don't help people to know how to use the knowledge they have used to save our environment, to use it on a daily basis so that it can help not only us, but the people who are deprived in our communities.
Academic research sometimes is slowed down by just their nature, that they are academic. So for them to be turned, into usable, packages by communities and so on, it takes time, because somebody may be doing research just to get his findings right, papers and so on and so forth. And yet, these are very key researches that should be getting, into the community as, useful packages.
The need to improve capacity for research development and implementation, research and development in farm forestry, extension approach and information dissemination is hence paramount.
Academic institutions, especially universities, should calm down. It is very difficult to work in isolation, because I believe we are all working for the same common good. And if we can bring on board CBOs, we can bring on board NGOs, we can bring on board multinational NGOs, then all our efforts would be towards the same thing, and we will avoid duplications, because maybe we have already done something at Egerton. Moi doesn't know what we have done, or Kenya Forest Working Group doesn't know what we have done, or Forest Action Network doesn't know what we have done. So they will go back to the same place and do the same thing.
The university seems to be working on its own. We go to the Kenya Forest Service and other organizations, like government organizations, are working on their own. The NGOs are working on their own, and so on. There's no linkage between them that can harmonize free flow of information from one to the other, and feedbacks to make sure that we are all moving forward in one direction.
Being a membership organization and a leader in advocating for forest issues in the country, Kenya Forest Working Group continues to emphasize on the need to fully involve the youth in forest conservation and protection. Under the program, the organization will continue to identify and draw attention to the factors threatening forest resources while mobilizing people, and especially youth, to participate in forest-oriented activities in 2011 and beyond.
Tools that the Kenya Forestry Working Group is using to promote this is engaging the youth, because they believe the youth are at the heart of environmental management, and if they can be, if the values of environment can be ingrained in the youth, then these are the people who are going to take decisions in the future. And with that understanding of the importance of forestry and forestry management and how we are interdependent, then they will be able to protect the forestry through the decisions and the policies they make as leaders.
This will be made possible through, among other approaches, supporting sport tournaments, innovations, art tree planting initiatives in the country's 5 water towers. Forests are not only important sources of livelihoods, but are also homes to millions of species of plants, animals and insects. A whopping 80% of the planet's biodiversity is believed to depend on healthy forest ecosystems.
I look at forests as belonging to the people, and we have a symbiotic relationship, people and the forest. So we need to take care of the forest so that the forest can take care of us. So we encourage every Kenyan, every youth to have a target and see how they can promote forestry, how many trees they can plant in a year.
So the aim we have for this year is to try and raise awareness regarding the constitution, and also do a lot of forest monitoring to identify challenges that are facing certain forest areas, and to expand at least the forest cover. And as you know, the constitution talks about 10%. So the idea is to try and actualize these targets.
Let students ask themselves, they are spending a lot of tree products in their schools. They're using papers, they're using pencils. How much are they giving out? How much are they giving back? Why are they waiting for universities, administration to be able to give them a tree to go and plant? Our target this year is to make sure that everybody takes responsibility, gives back for the products he or she has used.
If we can inspire each child to plant a tree, each person to plant a tree, if it's for nothing else, all of us will die someday, and we'll need a casket, unless, well, you don't have to have, wooden casket to be buried, but I think the value now is that you use the caskets, and those caskets also cost a lot. They have taken a lot of trees, so why don't you plant one so that when you die you have a casket of wood, if that is your value, apart from your daily living.
I'd tell everyone in general to take this issue of the environment very seriously, because if it were not for the environment, we wouldn't be here. Try as much as possible to get more of what we already have, to also plant more trees so that we will have that sustainability, and we can also be able to use the products wisely. And as we're using them, we should give back to the environment by planting more trees.
Kenya Forest Working Group is calling upon all stakeholders to participate in making our forest cover reach the anticipated 10%, and institutions of higher learning to put more efforts in making this dream come true.